Audrey Griffin was 19 years old. She lived on the central coast of New South Wales, Australia. Her life was really structured. She was moving in a very clear and positive direction. She was a triathlete. She played rugby and competed in water polo. She'd represented her school at a high level and had been named vice captain at Central Coast Sports College. Training sessions, competitions, proper recovery. Audrey was the real deal. Shortly before March of 2025, the events that this video is about, she travelled to New Zealand to compete in the Antico Foods Half Ironman. That alone required months of preparation, swimming, cycling and running. Each part demanded its own level of endurance and skill, each part making me realise I need to go to the gym. And outside of sports, Audrey had already made plans for what would come next. She intended to join the Australian Navy. That decision added another layer of structure that really seemed to suit her. Entry requirements, training expectations, a defined pathway forwards and upwards. Earlier on in the day of March the 22nd, Audrey had spent time with family. It was a good, normal day. And then later that evening, she went out with friends to the Gosford Hotel, a fun and familiar place. She remained there until around 2 a.m. At that point, it was time to leave. And from that moment forward, every decision that was made would depend on what was immediately available. Remember, it was 2 a.m. It was all about transport, timing, and who was nearby. She attempted to arrange a ride home, an Uber or a taxi, but none were available. So instead of waiting indefinitely, she made a decision. She would walk home to a friend's house. That route would take her along the entrance road, moving towards the arena area. As she walked, she remained in contact with a friend. She was sending Snapchat videos, only short updates, but it was proof that she was okay. These messages would later become much more important, because at this stage, we are still in kind of that before world where everything is good. But soon, a whole new, darker afterworld was about to be unleashed. Whilst Audrey's life was following structure and routine, there was another pattern forming elsewhere, a pattern that had already been established long before that night. Someone else had prior convictions for DV, assault, intimidation, fraud and theft. And these weren't just isolated offences, it was literally who this guy was. His behaviour even led him to prison time in 2020. After his release, that pattern continued through further charges, through breaches of apprehended violence orders, which is related to the DV, and so restrictions had been placed on his behaviour, legal boundaries had been set, but those boundaries had already been crossed before.